Hi, Aquarius. I don't think I've known you guys long enough to have seen you through this particular phase before, but this is interesting. So if you feel like you're having a little bit of like a mental breakdown, or you just like can't stand how many different energies you have to deal with right now, it may very well be because someone is trying to somehow work their way back into your life or engage you in a way that's troublesome, and you're trying very much to keep your peace. Excuse me. Ooh. Okay. So, Page of Wands, Page of Cups, Four of Swords. Back and forth we go, especially with a water sign or a fire sign, it looks like. But more than anything, it's a jumble of communication. And then there's the Four of Swords being like, no, I think maybe you should be resting. Maybe you're not sleeping. Are you sleeping? I feel like you're not sleeping. I feel like there is this cross current of electricity right now that's keeping you from being able to do much. And there's a lot of sabotage, self-sabotage impulses coming up for you guys, from letting a toxic person from your past back in, or letting yourself go back into that space because you feel like you're never going to meet anybody, or it's never going to get better than this. But those are all just tricks of your mind, and that stuff always happens right before all the good stuff happens. So if you're thinking about letting someone who has fire placements or very specific water placements, like water rising, for example, the move is Four of Swords. Like, don't even respond. Don't engage whatsoever. And they're going to try. They're going to message you. They're going to show up. They're going to do all kinds of things. This is for those of you who are currently single or trying to be single. Those of you who are together with someone and have been for a while may feel like this is actually a great time because you're getting closer. You're working through the misunderstandings. Whereas if you're single, it's someone who's creating more and more misunderstanding within you. Temperance. So there is a chance after we move into Gemini season that you'll meet someone. The chances of meeting someone before Gemini season, super slim. The chances of meeting someone after and it being long-term, working out, and you're like, where have you been? Forever. Very high. If you're already with someone, the chances of it progressing are also very good. However, we have to be really honest about what's good for us long term. People who are fun are not always the move long term. People who, let's say Three of Cups in this scenario is self-medicating, also not the best Ten of Cups partner. Your luck is changing, and yet you have the choice to not receive it if you don't want. Because so much of you wants this strange resolution of things, not just from the past, but just the toxicity within oneself. Even if you're in an established bond with someone, you may find yourself having these like weird, destructive, toxic impulses that you can't really explain. Even sexually, you may be having impulses that you're like, why am I thinking about this? Like, why do I want to do this? I don't know. It's just one of those times where you feel like it's time to shake things up a lot. If you're dealing with a Sagittarius that you feel maybe in some way not telling you the truth or keeping things from you, or you guys are in an established relationship and you feel like they're sneaking around, you will find your answers this month. If they're sneaking around, they're going to get caught. This month especially. Taurus season is just one of the, I don't know, man. Taurus season doesn't let anyone go easy, you know? So this is very personal. It's internal work. There's not much externally going on with you, but internally you are, it's tempestuous. Page of Wands, Page of Cups is like, there's fire, but there's water. There's fire, but there's water. There's all these conflicting, emotions within you, all these conflicting impulses. And really what you want is a sense of peace, a sense of direction, perhaps some protection. And of course, yes, you want an established partnership. You do. You are one of those signs that really likes to be in a couple. You are. As much as Aquarians are like, no, we're very independent. We don't care. We love being unattached. I know, but you really love, and not just for the sake of being in one, but you really love being with someone. You love love. But do you love love just to love it, or does it love you back? And if this person, this past whatever, is trying to convince you that they do love you, you gotta wonder about what you're gonna miss out on if you stay around situations and people that make you feel like you're having a breakdown. You gotta wonder. You have to wonder if there's something better out there. And by the time you get to Gemini season, it's like, yes, there is something better out here. And for those of you who are with someone, by the time we get to Gemini season, you're like, oh, you're not driving me crazy anymore. How nice. Now, aside from that, should we talk about money? Should we talk about work? Money's slow. Work is slow. It's kind of a cosmic joke because the energies want you to focus on yourself, but yourself is going in so many different directions that it's like, right? However, when we look at them together, you'll be able to see that it's actually quite great. If you watch your own destructive tendencies, which is how this card usually reads for me, if you watch that within yourself, you may find that your surroundings magically change because you've decided that you're not going to be the destructive impulse in your life. So if somebody else wants to come in and disrupt your peace, that's easy for you. Let's just roll off your back. But it's when you disrupt your peace, it's when you let your dialogue get way into your head that it becomes necessary for you to self-medicate. It becomes necessary for you to isolate. It becomes necessary for you to put on that, Aquarian mask of like, everything is good, everything's fine. How have you guys been? And people are like, are you okay? Like, you sure you're okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Maybe tell them you're not. Maybe express to the people close to you that you really need some rest. Like, you really, really need some rest. It's serious. And part of that rest is getting away from all this like weird, what is this? Like, leave me alone. That's a big feeling coming off of this reading. Like, please leave me alone. I thought I was done with this. I could care less, and yet you're here. That's the feeling, And if you look at the Leo reading, you guys are on this like axis of what looks like toxicity, right? You're on this axis of they're dealing with stuff from the past, not being able to move forward in terms of economics and health because of that stubbornness to stick to that. And it feels like you guys are externally being exposed to that and being asked to make the right decision. Whereas I think Leo wants to make the wrong decision, right? And has to kind of be talked out of it. You have to be talked into making the wrong decision. And so you have ample opportunities to choose yourself. And of course, then the monies choose you as well when you choose yourself. But until Gemini season, the esteem and the monies are a little scarce on the ground, right? So what do? We rest. We keep our priorities in check. We don't self-medicate. Hang out with the Sagittarius. Let the love come to you. And more than anything, be super brave. Be brave enough to know that whatever is past is nowhere near as good as what's coming. And there's no need to go back to it. Why are we not going back to it? Because what's ahead of you has to do with self-esteem, power, just like Leo. If you choose yourself right now, there is a gain of self-esteem, a raising of the self-esteem. Your bank account will look a lot friendlier by the end of the month. But that, upswing, that mountaintop view only comes if you do the resting, if you don't get roped into people's half-hearted attempts at just getting attention from you. Like, don't let people use your energy for attention. Don't let them use it for their own gain. Don't let them pull you into things that you don't even really want to do, pull you into beliefs like, I don't believe you, but you keep badgering me, so I'm just going to let it go. Do not let any of that go. And Aquarius, if you have Sag placements, it's very important for you right now to look at your home life and like, where is that thing going on in your home that you know shouldn't be going on? What is that? What is that thing that you really know needs to go, and yet you have been powerless to do anything about it? This could be a bad habit of your own. It could be something that's going on around you. It could be something that your partner is indulging in, but it's something that you have a keen instinct about. That Aquarian internal dialogue is going, I don't like that. That's not right. You need to get rid of that. Why is that still around? Why aren't you saying anything? Say something. Voice your concerns. Rest. Let this wheel spin, but the wheel needs you to rest so it can spin. Let this cup spill, but this cup needs your attention so it can spill where you can see it. If you're consumed with other stuff and isolating yourself because of whatever, see, there's a difference between isolating yourself and resting. You guys like to go to these extremes where it's like, oh, I shouldn't be around anyone? Fine, I'll just go be alone. No. Don't be around people who are specifically trying to pull you into things that you know are not good. Or they're trying to talk you into something that you know happened a completely different way. But now they want to like rewrite history and be like, no, it was actually like this. No, it wasn't. It was never like that. You're lying. And of course, you have the energy to do so. And of course, you will feel better. Yes, you will. And work will go better. And then the love comes. If you are dealing with a Gemini that you thought it would be pretty short term, you may be surprised to find that they're very serious about you. Or if you have a Gemini acquaintance or a business colleague, you may find that something innocuous turns into a really big deal and you end up having a very long-term business relationship with them, or you take part in a business venture that ends up being long-term profitable. So all good things as of May 21st. Until then, it is a test. Taurus season is hard on anyone who doesn't know exactly what they want. And if you don't know what you want, Taurus makes you figure it out. And what it looks like from here is that you know what you want. You're just being polite, or you wish it wasn't the way it is, or somehow you think that you can, in a cerebral way, rewrite what happened. Cerebral time travel, if you can explain it to yourself in a different way, if you can be talked into another explanation about something, then it wasn't really the way it was. And so you can just totally let go of it and move on and go back right back into that toxic situation. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. And why? Why, when you know at the end of the month, as soon as the season changes, there's so much attention coming your way, like things that you actually want, things, new things that you deserve much more than whatever has happened in the past. Because like in the Leo reading, which I suggest you watch, what's happened in the past is so stuck in the past that even if you got back into it, it wouldn't be any different. Probably be worse. And I don't want you to think it's just about relationships. It's not. It doesn't have to be that this toxic paradigm is some old flame that's come back into your life, although the chances are high. It can be any old toxic thing that for some reason you're thinking about still. That's what Leo's doing. Leo's wanting to go back into the toxicity. For you, it feels like it's coming to you and then you find yourself looping about it, or your exes are bringing it to you, or your family's bringing it to you. There's some obvious toxicity that just hasn't been dealt with. And now you're hit with it and you're like, you want me to be okay with this? You want me to pretend that I'm okay with this? And you want me to pretend that somehow you can talk me into this when you know I'm too smart for this? And yet I feel so deeply uncomfortable by you assuming or asking this of me, that there's many of you who, if you hadn't watched this, would just give into it just out of politeness, not realizing how much it'll damage you, not realizing how bad it is for you, not in what it can do to you necessarily, but in what you miss out on by wasting your time with it, by letting it in. Don't let it in. You know, safe room. Live in your safe room until Gemini season, your emotional, mental safe room. No need for anyone, your panic room, whatever it's called. No need to let anyone into that space. Not yet. And this 10 of Cups, center of the reading, the Sag card there, Wheel of Fortune, Ace of Cups, the Fool, the Ace of Pentacles, very, very positive cards, very good. And all depending on you choosing you or you choosing the other. And just like with Leo, again, I really think you should watch it because it's across from you. It's what's happening in your relationships. If you choose you, ironically, others will choose you and you won't be alone. Well, all right. Let's look at these cards, Aquarius, and I'll see you in the extended. Yes? Mwah. Love you.
Hi, Aquarius. First of all, I gotta say, that's a bomb reading right there. I just listened to it again. I watched it again, and I'm like, yes. This is not even like, it's such a mild warning. It's the card's way of being like, you know what's coming. Like, you already know. I don't know what it is with water signs, but they're being extremely manipulative. Like, if you watch the Cancer reading, Cancers are so triggered by that reading. But even if you look into the astrology for what's up with Cancers this month, they're being hella manipulative. But just saying that word has triggered them so much. I'm only laughing because I'm a Cancer rising. Like, I feel like I could laugh at it. But you feel it. And you could sense it in your communications with water signs where you're like, really, bitch? Like, what are you doing? Like, you don't think that I can see through this nonsense right now? Or you have a water sign friend who's dealing with some stuff that's like, I don't think that he or she knows what it is, but you're reading it very accurately, but it's going right over their head. Regardless, you all need rest. You, them, the friends, the water sign that's trying to manipulate you, everybody needs rest. The person who's trying to manipulate the water sign, everybody needs rest. Yes? Rest. Rest from what? Rest from the communication, rest from the bullshit, rest from trying to put yourself out there. Just rest. Then the Sagittarius card here. So like I said, Aquarius, if you have Sagittarian placements, this is specifically here. This 10 of Cups is about you. You have a very good chance right now to secure a relationship that's already ongoing. If you're in a relationship already, that can turn into something long-term wonderful. You may also be in a long-term wonderful situation with the Sagittarius that you have doubts about now. So the doubts, the jealousy, the fighting, the first part of the month is really bringing all that out. Does that mean that it's true? I don't think Sagittarians are necessarily not telling the truth as much as they're being held to task. And the way they do things can be very easily misconstrued right now. And they also don't feel like explaining themselves. So it's doubly frustrating. Wheel of Fortune, but we'll clarify here. Of course, that's exactly what the extendeds are about, because we would be here forever if we started doing that. Wheel of Fortune, Ace of Cups, King of Swords. So hello, 1, 2, boom, 3. This is great. This is exactly what you want to do. And this is exactly where you get if you rest. Yes? Good. So, Wheel of Fortune, things start to turn in your favor in terms of all the suspicion, the jealousy, whatever's going on, it resolves itself. Either it's that you find out the truth or you realize that it's just you giving into the worst parts of your nature. Whatever it is, it resolves itself. You feel this optimism. You feel a rise in opportunity. You feel a rise in warmth about the way people feel about you in general, but especially a partner, especially if it's an air sign. But you yourself come out of May, you're thriving in Gemini season. Of course, air. But it's more than just feeling good. You feel like you have a certain authority, a certain gravity, and the money just is so attracted to that energy, you know? Success is attracted to it. And it also, it's the kind of energy that really does scream to everyone around you, I don't give a fuck. And that's an energy that once Aquarius gets in this bag, oh, they become ultimate successes, because this is exactly the energy you need as an Aquarian to really put your gifts out there. You have to be braver than everybody else because you're weirder than everybody else. But that just makes you more interesting and more creative than everybody else if you own it. Boom. In the extended, we will, of course, these are two that are part of the extended. We'll look here. Well. What did I say about Gemini season? Look at here. It's a long, happy road, Aquarius. Damn, it's been a minute. We'll get into it. Loves yous. Oh, geez. Loves yous. See you in a moment in the extended. Also, I mentioned it in the Leo reading, and I'll mention it here as well. If y'all are into coming in New York City to Brooklyn, Crown Heights, June 21st, we're having a live podcast in the city and a dance party afterwards, which is going to be super cool. It's going to be a lot of my SoundCloud playlist. So it's Afro beats, it's dancehall, it's reggae, it's hip hop. And the live podcasting is amazing. We do it in a town hall style meeting. And you can, depending on the ticket you can get some alone time with me as well. And we just open it up, just open it up to questions. And if you listen to the podcast, then you'll know that it's astrology based, but there's a lot of other stuff going on there. Like if you've watched the animated Psycho-Cybernetics podcast, it's on the front of the page now, on the front of the channel right now, the featured content. It's that sort of stuff that we get into. And the tickets are on sale now, but what I've noticed about that particular space, I think it's the energy of the people that run that space. Shout out Jazzy, but also is Brooklyn. Like Brooklyn is hype. And that space has a tendency to sell out. So the last live podcast we did there was a couple of weeks ago, and it sold out fast. So I'll put the link below. And I'm just giving you guys a little heads up. I haven't mentioned it in any other videos except the Leo one and yours. So let's see how that goes. I loves you. I'll see you in a second.